1 day, 24 hours. That's the entirety of the season for red snapper fishing in the South Atlantic. If you ask the federal government, they'll say that this fish is at risk of becoming endangered. But if you ask the opinion of any angler who fishes the South Atlantic, you'll learn that there's much more to the story. How can Florida's Gulf Coast get 103 days of snapper season while the Atlantic gets a mere 24 hours? In this video, I'll explore this question while simultaneously chasing a few big snapper of my own. After we wrap up offshore, we head to the inlet to chase giant snook. And what happened here, I never expected to see in person. Next, we clean up our offshore catch, and then we head to the kitchen to whip up one of my favorite recipes of all time. This one was fun, and you all are going to love it. Huge thank you to Saltwater Sportsman, Bass Pro Shops, Mako Boats, and Garmin Marine for making this video possible.
Good afternoon, afternoon, y'all. Welcome to an epic video, or at least what I hope is going to be an epic video. Right now, I'm riding solo on the Mako, and I am on a bait mission. I'm headed offshore to go and try and catch some live croakers because tomorrow is going to be chaos. Tomorrow is the 1 day of red snapper season we get here on the east coast of Florida. So everyone and their mother is going to be out trying to catch a couple keeper red snapper. I have the crew of guys coming to meet me tomorrow, so let's get out on the water and let's try and catch some bait. All right, we made it out to the bait spot, and I am rigging up my bait rod right now. So hooks of choice for what I'm doing is a little BKK beak hook. These are size number 2, so not very big hooks, and I'm just gonna be putting a little piece of shrimp on these guys. It's also about to start raining, so wish me luck. Hopefully I don't get completely soaked out here. I've just got some dead shrimp here, and I'm just gonna peel this and use it as bait. Basically, the pieces that I would eat are the pieces that I'm gonna feed to the fish. So just the meat, take the shell off, throw the head in the water, throw the tail in the water. I'm gonna hook these on our little hooks. So we've got our rig. Just a little weight, dropper loops, small hooks, pieces of shrimp. So if you look here on the Garmin, you can see a bunch of little stuff here on the bottom. We're marking some stuff high, but what I'm looking for are all these bait fish down here. These are croaker and whiting, which are gonna be snapper candy. So I'm gonna drop my shrimp right here. There we go. Hooked up on a bait. This honestly can be one of the more fun parts of the day, but tomorrow we don't have time to mess around with it. Bam, that is exactly what I'm looking for. So that is an Atlantic croaker. And you can hear, come on, he was just croaking for us, which is exactly where they get the name. Beautiful baits, great as snook bait, but they also work pretty darn well offshore on the bottom. Okay, well, I was not expecting to catch one of these, but check that out. I just caught a freaking ribbon fish, and these work great as bait for kingfish, supposedly. I've heard it many a time. I am actually just gonna let this guy go. He's got some crazy freaking teeth, though. It's his lucky day. I'm gonna let him go. I am in them now. Getting them 2 at a time, which is exactly the way you want to do it. Those BKKs, getting them in the corner. I do prefer a circle hook for this a lot of time. BKK makes a lot of great little circle hooks, but I did not bring them today. So just unhooking these croaks, throwing them in the well, gonna load up as fast as I can. Hopefully we don't get poured on. The rain is definitely coming, but tomorrow looks good. Tomorrow there shouldn't be much rain in the morning when we're fishing. They have been eating good. This is croaker probably number, I don't know, 25, something like that. I'm catching them pretty much every single drop, which is good. Loaded up on bait, got like 30 or 40 or something like that. Had a couple die, but I think we're looking pretty good. Got my live well all set up. Let me show you guys real quick. So
I caught these baits today, right? But I'm gonna be fishing tomorrow and I can't leave the boat in the water. I have to put the boat on the trailer. So this is my solution. I have battery hooked up to an aerator, pumping water in, and I just have this jerry rigged right here, just a bungee cord, so this thing doesn't close on my little hoses. But when I'm out of the water, this is going to be aerating this fresh water in here, and I'm also bringing a couple buckets of fresh salt water to change in the middle of the night. So with all that being said, headed in. I will see you guys in the morning. So why is it that from North Carolina all the way down to Key West, there's only one day of recreational red snapper fishing? But in Florida's Gulf, there's 103 days of red snapper fishing. First, we have to acknowledge that the Atlantic is managed by the federal government, or by NOAA, and the Gulf is managed by the state governments, by FWC in Florida specifically. And while the two different fisheries are managed by different organizations, there's actually one overarching thing that determines how many snapper can get caught, and that is a catch limit that's actually determined by NOAA, by the federal government. These catch limits are determined yearly, and they are based on whatever data that NOAA has on hand. So the state of Florida and other Gulf states get to determine, based on their catch limit, what days they're going to open and how many days they're going to open red snapper season for. Whereas on the Atlantic, the state doesn't have that luxury. It is still determined by NOAA, and it is determined from North Carolina all the way down to Key West by NOAA. Later in the video, we're going to discuss data collection, why a lot of anglers think the data might be inaccurate that NOAA has, and a better solution and a way forward. But first, we need to get fishing.
Good morning, y'all. Welcome to the ramp. We made it. We made it through the hardest part of the day, and that is just putting the boat in the water at a very congested boat ramp at 4:50 in the morning here on the east coast of Florida. That's because, like I was saying, we have one day of red snapper season, so everyone's excited. Everyone's raring to get out here on the east coast of Florida. Actually, right now we're waiting on Tyler. We're just docked up at the ramp because our boy slept in. He did have a 2-hour drive, so that he didn't have much room for error, but he should be here any minute now, and we're gonna be on the water. Our baits are looking good. They've made it through the night, so everything is shaping up to be a really good morning. My struggle is I always have to get away from the South Florida mutton fishing mindset where you need long leaders. Like, I break off too many because I always use such a long leader. I always end up catching them after I break off like 7, and it's like, oh, because my leader's short now. Yeah, so I mean, okay, Sleeping Beauty made it. Yeah. We have another 15 miles. We're running in the dark right now, and we should be at the spot. Hopefully no one is on the spot that we're headed to, but we got a live well full of baits. I'm stoked. My man needs to catch his PB red snapper today, which is
my only red snapper.
I never caught one before, so we're gonna do it for the first time, but we're getting out there. That was a nice, probably 1-hour run. It is a little bit sporty, a little bit more sporty than the weatherman called for, but nothing this boat can't handle. And we, right now, are on the trolling motor. So the trolling motor spot locked us. Huge game changer when you have trolling motors. You don't have to drop an anchor. You can get right on top of the spot. And right now, I'm marking on the Garmin. It's very subtle in some of these areas where we're gonna be marking snappers. But if you look, like right there, that's gonna be a snapper, just a little bit off the bottom. So I marked a couple good marks around this area. You can see me driving around, finding exactly where they were on my spot. Gonna try here, and if we don't get bit, I'll just bump around the spot a little bit, reset up. The Garmin Kraken trolling motor makes it super easy to do all these things. The rig we're using today is very simple, and it's a little different than other snapper rigs that I use. So Growing up in South Florida, fish for a lot of mutton snappers, need really long leaders for those. Out here, we have a lot of hard bottom. These red snapper love to break you off. The minute you hook them, they're running straight for some type of structure. So really only have like a 6-foot long leader, 80-pound fluorocarbon, down to a 7.0 BKK heavy circle hook. Now, we have all our baits. I caught yesterday. Scoop one of these out. Nice Atlantic croakers. Bang. Beautiful. You guys can go home. And very easy. Just take them, hook them through the nose with the BKK circle hook. We're gonna drop her down. Real heavy tackle because, again, these fish love to break you off, love to go straight for the structure. So have a pretty heavy rod, pretty stout rod, Talica 20, 80-pound top shot, and then I have some Silk Ocean PE4, which is super, super strong braided line. So let's see how long this takes, see if we get bit pretty quick. We're marking some stuff on the Garmin, so might be very, very fast. I'm actually gonna check my drag before I get to the bottom. Watching these boats just get air out here as they're running by us is so funny. One of the benefits of this rig is you can unloop your lead and change to a heavier or a lighter one depending on whatever the conditions are being presented. So a lot of current right now, so I'm switching from a 6 to an 8 ounce. Might even go up to a 10 in a little bit, but that's why I always have a ton of different sizes. Nervous bait. Come on. Feel that croaker just freak out.
While we were getting good marks and our baits were kind of freaking out, it didn't seem like the snapper were ready to commit. Or maybe what we were marking weren't bigger red snapper. It probably was around 30 minutes or so before we got our first bite. But Tyler hooked a fish that we both did not expect to catch.
Hold on him, sun's out.
Tyler was hooked up to something that he had never caught before. Something that he actually drove a total of, I don't know, 3 hours to try and catch earlier with me this year, and he didn't catch one, but now was his chance. This was a really, really nice cobia. And I won't steal Tyler's thunder and show this entire fight, but I just want to show you guys a couple highlights because this was an epic fish that I was stoked to get in the boat for him.
I've never seen one this big in person. The only time I've ever seen him in person actually was with Ryan, and they were just a couple shorts that we got that day, but beautiful keeper cobia.
We kept marking a lot of stuff, but it just didn't seem like the snapper were trying to play at this spot. I dropped a couple more beautiful croakers that just absolutely should be getting crushed. So I decided to change it up after I bumped us around the spot a little bit. And I wanted to drop down some dead sardines because sometimes, man, fish just want to turn on to dead bait even when you're presenting them with the best live baits possible.
There we go, got him up off the bottom. This isn't a monster, but oh, might have just turned into a shark. Yep, that's exactly what just happened. Oh man, had a snapper, turned into a shark. Let me get it back from him. Oh. Well, I got the shark distracted. You can try and catch him, my friend. Ah. It won't be very big. It'll be like a sandbar or something. Question. It's always a good question. There he goes. Well, finally got the snapper bite, and the shark wanted the snapper really bad. He got him from me. So all we did is lose our hook. Made the shark think twice, but yeah, gonna drop back down and try and get another one. Oh, I had something. I had a grunt. Well, finally got a bite from a bottom fish, but ended up being a grunt, not a red snapper. Throwing it back in the water.
I'm feeling it out here, boys and girls. I'm not used to this rough stuff. You guys know I mostly fish inshore, backcountry, backwater stuff. I don't really do too well in rough seas, but we're sticking it out. Hopefully it pays off with the reward of a big snapper. We're working for him.
That was so weird. We were saying that it was rough out here, but there's a guy in a freaking 17-foot flats boat getting after it. So yeah, I guess do what you can to get out and get after these fish.
Spot number 1 was just not panning out as much as we tried, so it was time to pick up and move to spot number 2. Now, because it's only a one-day season, I was very particular about where I wanted to go, and I was worried that a lot of the time I was going to pull up on one of my spots and someone was already going to be fishing it. As I pulled up to each spot, we would drop the Garmin in the water, and then I would motor around until I got the perfect marks, the actual marks that I was looking for. This spot looked a little more promising with fish actually hanging off the bottom, which are indicative of bigger schools of red snapper. So I started throwing some chunks, trying to get these fish fired up.
Okay, pulled up spot number 2. Spot number 1 had the cobia. Definitely had some red snapper, but we didn't get the right bites that we wanted. So just hooked on a dead sardine. Trying the dead bait at this spot. Still got plenty of live. Sometimes the fish, man, sometimes they want dead, sometimes they want live, so that's why I bring both. A pro tip when you're bottom fishing with dead bait is if you let it down fast, you just like let it free fall, it's gonna spin a lot. So if you just kind of slowly let it down, we're in 80 feet of water right now, it's not gonna take long for it to get to the bottom. If you just slowly let it down, your leader's not gonna be all tangled up and messed up from, you know, the twisting that you get from letting it down fast. Live baits can typically swim, so you can let them down a little bit quicker, but this is well worth the tangles that you're avoiding if you just go nice and slow.
At this spot, the dead bait was getting nibbled on by smaller stuff, but back to back, I saw Tyler get 2 really good bites, and my boy was not ready for the power of these red snapper at all.
Oh yeah. What the heck is going on out here? Just like boom, hit the bait, leave it alone. They're just diabolical little snappers today. Yours was not diabolical little snapper, it was a diabolical big snapper. You can see him all beat up. This guy was pristine when I put him down there. The snappers just come up, bite him, and decide they don't want to eat him. Alrighty, fresh croaker going down to the depths. Freaking fish have just been killing our baits this morning. Oh my gosh, dude.
Pipe?
Yeah, they're just piping it but not eating it.
Here we go. Show me how it's done, Ryan. Oh my God. These fish throw down, y'all. That's nuts. You know you got a nice fish on when you can't talk to the camera.
Yeah, haven't said one word.
No, you're freaking focused, mode.
Oh, dude,
You
got some power. Got some freaking power. Unit. Not even that big of one, but he's going in the box for me. Let's go. Target acquired. Woo! Look at that.
Let's go.
That's a big old red snapper. Beautiful fish. You guys saw these things brawl. I didn't say a thing to the camera. Tyler's like, you know, the fish is fighting hard if you're not freaking saying anything.
Yeah, no
that is a beautiful one. They get even bigger than this, but I'm gonna keep this one. You get to keep one per person per day. We have 3 people on the boat today, so we can keep 3. Oh man, it's cool. Freaking BKK circle hook here, right in the corner of the mouth. Got him, and I can feel my later chafed up. He was in something for a second, so definitely lucked out. But whew, I'm out of breath, brother. See those teeth? These things have been getting us today, biting our baits, and that's exactly what those teeth marks or those teeth have been doing, is they've been biting our baits. I think it's been smaller fish. When the big ones want to eat, they actually eat. Whew! Feels good, man. Feels good to get one in the boat. I'm stoked. Okay, so I'm going to bleed this fish. For YouTube purposes, I'm not gonna show me like gutting it or bleeding it and having blood all over the boat. But one of the things that I love about this Mako is easy access to the raw water washdown. Tons of boats have it, but it's slept on a lot of the time. Because when I want to bleed a fish, I'll go ahead and bleed it, and then I'll just literally put him back here in the scupper and I'll just run water right through his gills. We did it with the cobia this morning, and I'm gonna do it with the snapper here in a second. I was like, I'm dropping right now. Oh, cameraman hooked up on a remora. He's just trying to help us reel up to leave, but had a fish on. Getting heavier. Gaining girth. Oh, big remora guy. Wow. Excellent. Wash that treb. Well, even Andrew catches him. He hates being on camera, but he's gonna be on camera right now.
Perfect release.
The trolling motor is such a game changer. There's tons of companies that make them. What we have on this boat is a Garmin Kraken, and this one is sweet. I've been loving it. Haven't had any issues with it at all since I got the boat. And this thing will keep the boat steady in freaking tons of current, tons of wind. They have what's called spot lock. So if you guys have been out of the game for a bit, spot lock literally anchors you in one point via GPS. So tons of trolling motors have that. What I love about this one though, is it has a spot lock button on the trolling motor itself. So if for whatever reason I lose the remote or I don't have the remote on me, I can just walk up to the front of the trolling motor, bam, lock us, bam, unlock us. Super easy to use. And that thing is a tank. Really, really strong trolling motor. Drop her down. Sun's out. Oh.
So with one red snapper in the box, I was getting excited, but I really needed Tyler to figure it out because my man had never caught a red snapper before and I wanted him to catch a good one on this trip. But while we're waiting for Tyler to get a bite, I wanted to remind you guys that this trip would not be possible without some awesome sponsors. Saltwater Sportsman magazine set up this entire trip and got me in this Mako 214. And if you guys are interested in a Saltwater Sportsman magazine subscription, I have it linked down below. I also have links to this boat, which you can find at Bass Pro Shops. This Mako 214 has been getting me out on the water. It's not a crazy expensive boat, but it really gets the job done. And I think we're showcasing some of the awesome things that you can do with this boat. Also, I have links to all of the Garmin gear that we're using in this video, which I've been raving about. Now let's get back to fishing.
All about gaining. Get that line back. Woo! Sun's out, came to play. Don't worry, I'll talk for you since you're concentrating.
No kidding. Come on, baby, get off the bottom.
You could probably switch back to high gear now.
Oh, I think I actually got the fish off the bottom.
Yeah, now you just got to stay away from the man in the gray suit.
Pound for pound, these things are giving the Goliaths a run for their money. That was like...
They're not nearly as big, but they pull hard.
Dude, they pull so hard. And I was like, you gotta go to get this fish off the bottom. And like I said, this is not my forte. I'm not good with these conventional setups, but...
Look at that thing!
Look at this fish.
Hell yeah, look at that thing!
Barely hooked, dude. Oh my god. I'm like lost words.
Oh yeah!
I was just admiring its beauty and I couldn't even say anything. What a day, man. This is amazing.
So if you ask an angler from the Atlantic what the red snapper population looks like, they're not going to say that this is a accurate representation. They're going to think it's something like this. From most anglers and captains that I talk to, you can't really get away from red snapper pretty much from 50 foot all the way out to 300 foot north of Sebastian Inlet. They're everywhere, and it makes it difficult to catch pretty much any other type of bottom species because there's just so many red snapper. So what gives? If all of the anglers seem to think there's tons of snapper, but NOAA thinks there's no snapper, or they're at chance of becoming endangered, where is the disconnect? What's going on here? Well, it goes back to those catch limits, which we talked about earlier in the video, and it's only 368,000 pounds of whole fish weight allocated for the South Atlantic, where in the Gulf, they are allocated around 16 million pounds. That's a lot more fish. Part of the reason for this difference in weight is the state is providing more data to NOAA than NOAA had previously. So every single year since like 2017, when the Gulf took over, it seems like the red snapper season has expanded in the Gulf because there's been more data provided to NOAA. So they've been able to more accurately predict how many fish can be taken. And to my understanding, the Atlantic doesn't have that good set of data, that quality data that the Gulf does to provide to NOAA in order to accurately represent what the populations are. Because anecdotally, it seems like there's a ton of red snapper. Now, I also need to point out that there's a lot more habitat in the Gulf. Red snapper can only live from, in my experience, from like 50 feet out to around 500, maybe as deep as 600 feet. The Gulf has a lot more of that area. On the East Coast, we drop off to 1,000 fairly quickly. In the Gulf, they just have so much more habitat for these things to live. So I'm not saying that the seasons should be equal. I'm just saying that it seems like you cannot get away from these red snapper at all. And many captains and many anglers would agree that one day seems like a slap in the face when it seems like this fishery is much more healthy than the feds are letting on. Later on in the video, we're going to discuss what is being done currently at the state level to address this problem, these issues, and also, in my opinion, what we could do as anglers going forward. Now, not everyone's going to agree with me, but we'll get to that in a sec. I was super stoked for Tyler to catch that fish. His first red snapper, absolutely being a stud, significantly bigger than the one that I caught. And while he was up getting some good, clean talking shots and good, clean photos, I decided to drop another croaker. And man, it didn't take long before I got a legit good bite.
Come on, fish. Oh, came off right there. I think I might have just pulled a hook because that thing felt like it was off the bottom. Yeah, just ripped the hook out. The thing with filming YouTube videos, the thing with going out and trying to do anything when you think it's going to be a guarantee, is it's never a guarantee. It's never as easy as you think it's going to be. We have two really nice red snapper in the box right now and one really nice cobia. But honestly, if you would have asked me yesterday, by noon, I would have told you we would have already been in. We would have already had a limit by like 10 a.m. But it is what it is. We have two nice ones. We get one more. So Tyler and I are trying to catch one more red snapper. We're on to spot number 5, I think, for the day. I have a handful of croakers left. Croakers have been really the key so far. So I'm gonna drop this guy down, see if we get another one. Oh, we got a little dolphin. I think that might be what we saw on top, boy. Bro. No, but we had the flat line out.
Close it?
Beautiful little schooly mahi. Dolphin if you're in Florida, Dorado if you're on the west coast of the United States. But no matter where you are, they are delicious fish. This one we threw in the cooler because he was not happy that we put him in the boat. Basically, we'll throw him in the cooler, let him calm down, then I can pull him out and talk to the cam. But these fish change colors like crazy. It's getting a little dark now, but they can be blue, yellow, green, a bunch of different ones, a bunch of different colors. This is a cow, has a rounded head. A bull would have kind of like a right angle. And even this size, they're already reproducing. This one could have eggs. Fastest growing fish in the ocean. A big one, like a 50-pounder, is only gonna be like 5-6 years old. So it's one of the more sustainable fish to bring home as well. So stoked on this guy. Love these guys for the dinner table. You can throw them in the freezer as well. But gonna throw this guy in the box. Loving it, man. Fun day out here on the Mako. So this is going to be the last stop of the day for offshore bottom fishing. Whether or not we catch anything, because there's multiple things that we want to accomplish today and only so many hours of daylight. We also want to try and go inshore, try and see if we can find a kingfish. We're only gonna give that an hour or two. And then we wanna cap off the video by trying to catch a big snook at the inlet. So no guarantees that any of that happens, but there is many goals left to accomplish. And we accomplished the goals, came out here. We've already exceeded the goals by catching a big cobia, getting a keeper dolphin as well. So it's been an awesome day offshore. See if we can cap it off with an absolute stud red snapper here.
On our very last sardine, Tyler hooked up big time, and if y'all want to see this man get his butt absolutely kicked by this fish, you're gonna have to check out his video, which he'll be posting in the next couple days as well. But this fish was a stud, and it made our day because that meant we were limited out.
Go. Finish out the limit. Come on, man. Look at that. Look at that. These things are so rock hard when you get them up from the bottom. They get a little bit of barotrauma, so they're freaking, you know, their bellies are distended, it's pushing out. They look the biggest when you pull them up. A lot of time you'll get them out of the cooler and be like, man, this fish shrank, but this is still a stud. You saw how hard that fish fought. This guy's in great shape. Still kicked his butt. Insane, man.
Again, while Tyler was taking photos in the front of the boat, one of the rods went off in the back and I hooked up to it. This ended up being a little bonito, which I flipped in quickly. Now, we kept this bonito because we're headed to the inlet and there's something there that might want to eat it.
We are moving on to greener pastures. We've got our limit of red snapper. Tyler just caught the last one of the day. And we're gonna go see if we can find a kingfish, give that an hour or two, and then try and cap off the day with a snook at the inlet. We'll see what happens. Bang. All right, so I know I said in one of those last shots that we're gonna try and catch kingfish. Well, we tried. The goal was to try and find some schools of thread fins, fish around those schools of thread fins, and catch some kings. Well, couldn't find the thread fin, so moving on to the next thing, trying to catch a snook. But in order to catch a snook, we need more live baits. So I am back at the same spot I was earlier, catching some croakers, Atlantic croakers. They worked great for those red snapper, and they were great for snook bait. Well. There. Man, I have dip netted quite a few croakers today. These ones are extra fresh, extra ready to go. And this one is going on a hook and hopefully into a snook's mouth. I want to show you guys a nice big old snook local here to Sebastian, Florida. See if we can make it happen. I'm just hooking him on. Got a rig with a 5.0 BKK circle hook. 50-pound Silk Ocean fluorocarbon leader, and some little split shots just to get him down in the water column. Not too heavy, you don't need too much weight here, but we'll see what happens. Might have to go more weight, might have to go less weight. You're always kind of tweaking based on what the conditions are. Was in the tower, brother.
Ryan's on.
Woo! Let's go. This is sick, man. These fish rip here.
Whoa!
Whoa, look at that, man. Look at that.
And cue fish not running anymore.
You just go wide the whole time. Don't worry about those close in shots because I have no GoPro right now. Whoa, dude. This is sick. Love getting on a good croaker bite. Wow. 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 Oh my gosh. What was that, brother? I don't think that was a snook. Well, whatever that was, got me in some stuff. We're fishing loose drag here because we're dropped down to some light leader. Typically, fishing from the boat in this area, you're able to play these fish out, but I let that one play a little bit too much, and he went straight home, wherever that rock was, whatever structure it was, and he broke me off. Braid does not play well with sharp barnacles on rocks. Okay, hook the croaker through the nose. Bam, just like that. Cast him towards the jetty.
You have a rig title.
Woo! Croaker got picked up. Fish is ripping. Whoa! Whoa, man, this fish is pissed. I love getting a good snook on a croaker bite. Took that long, quick, fast run. They are powerful in short bursts, man. Powerful, powerful fish. You can actually kind of finesse them, fish them a little bit lighter drag, lighter leader. Come on up, fish. This is a stubborn one. Come on up, fish. Wow. Nice big one. Oh my gosh. You guys see that freaking Goliath? Bro. Bro. That freaking Goliath whacked this thing. Look at that mark down his side. Oh my gosh, that thing was giant. Did you see it, Tyler? Bro, it was giant. Oh my gosh. Oh man, I'm sorry, buddy. That was crazy. Nice big overslot snook. Freaking the biggest Goliath, one of the biggest Goliaths I've ever seen, just came up and tried to absolutely whack him next to the boat. That was wicked, bro. Absolutely wicked. We're gonna get this guy back in the water, get him revived, and hopefully away from one of those Goliaths. After seeing that Goliath come up, try and eat my snook, I gotta try and catch that thing. That thing was giant. So we have one bait, have one big bonita here. So I'm gonna take my hook, kinda get it through the top of the mouth here. Kinda like this. That just works through. Prefer a big circle hook. Forgot to bring my big circle hooks today. But these things very rarely can resist a whole bonita. So I'm gonna put it down on the heavier rod. Rod's still a little small, but we'll see what happens. Oh, I just got 8. Film him. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I'm on. Are you still hooked up?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully this is the only one, but I doubt it. I know there's a lot here.
I've got like a serious back-breaking fish on.
Oh my God, I just broke off. So that Goliath broke me off. Somehow my knot came undone, something funky. I thought I was fine. Honestly, it felt like I had the thing beat, but dude, those things are strong. Bad things happen. That was my one bait, my one shot to try and catch one today. So it is what it is. But we got the snook, we got the red snapper. Freaking Tyler caught a cobia today. We got a ton of fish. And this video is far from over. Next up, we have to clean up some fish, and then we're cooking some of these fish. Super excited for the recipe that I have. So I'll see you guys at the fillet table.
So what's the way forward with red snapper management? Is it going to be one-day seasons for the rest of forever, or are we going to get seasons that seem to accurately represent the populations that we have on the Atlantic? To get there, states are going to need programs that essentially get more accurate data to NOAA to represent these populations. The state of Florida is actually already working on this. They have a quarterly lottery where there's going to be opportunities for recreational anglers to go out, catch and keep red snapper at a season, and report their findings. This data collection is going to be more accurate than what NOAA currently has, and hopefully, eventually, lead to a better red snapper population management system. And one last note, if any of you all are watching this and you know better than I do about this topic, I would love to hear from you, because there is not a good source of information for any of this available online. If anything, these government organizations need to do a better job of educating the public on how and why and where they can find out more on all of these sorts of topics, because I spent a lot of time trying to get a elementary level understanding of these fish populations and the reasons why they're managed the way they are, and there is not good communication between these organizations and the general public.
So we have one of those unit red snapper. This one was caught by Tyler. This is a really good one. Measured out at 32.5 inches. I would guess between, I don't know, 16 and 18 pounds personally. You know what's hilarious is I have a scale in the truck, but I just forgot to bring it down here, so is what it is. But we're gonna clean this guy up and get him in the cooler, because it has been a long freaking day. Actually, spin him around. First thing I always do, I did it off camera, is I actually rinse these fish off. Pretty much any fish, they just get slimy, man, and it's just harder to deal with, so just getting that rinsed off. Oh, this is actually gonna be cool. You guys see how puffed up this belly is? That is not from him eating a lot, that is just air. Boom. Sounds like a deflating tire. Just literally straight air coming out of this thing. So just gonna do that first cut. I have a serrated edge on the back of the knife here, and I just work it up the fish in the soft spot. Try not to miss any of that meat. And work back this way. Just actually got checked by FWC here, but she was super nice, super quick, easy. Now, back to our snapper. Got our initial cut, and then I just work down the edge of our snapper here. Just getting in like an inch or so. Just starting basically everything. And we're getting to that time of day. You guys are gonna start seeing some little bugs coming to say hi. At the end, sometimes I break through like this, and I just work down the tail, just like that. Just have to slowly start separating the meat off this fish. In case you guys are wondering, I would not recommend this cleaning table. It freaking moves a bunch, so I'm not even gonna say what brand it is, but find one that's strong, because this thing is a little wobbly and I can't tighten it any tighter. Working down the side of the fish, separating this fillet off. Wow, this looks delicious, my friends. Delicious. Shame that we only get to keep them every once in a while, but definitely a treat when we do. Get all the way to that backbone, whatever this bone is that runs this length. And then we have to get to my nemesis of any fish. They are the pin bones. So these little bones that run straight up like this. make it very difficult for you to detach your fillet. So I kind of get my knife on them like that. There we are. Now, once I get through the pin bones, I just have to hop up on top of that rib cage, work my way down, adjust your freaking annoying table, and continue to follow it down on top of the ribs so we don't have to remove them later. Bam. There we have one big ol' red snapper fillet, giant scales, tons of meat, looking really good. I am excited to eat this. Actually, I'll lay this guy down here. Make sure there's no scales on my meat or anything like that. We are going to skin them up. Bring it to the edge of the table here. This is a big piece of meat, so this won't be the easiest to skin, but we will get it. Slowly work our way up, and I follow the knife with my hand, keep my hand on the back of that knife all the way down. Okay, very last step. I'm gonna remove the rest of these pin bones that are sitting here. Just cut like this, cut like this. They run with the bloodline, real easy, real quick and easy. Bang, we're looking good. I missed a couple ribs that ended up in the main meat. I will get those when I get to the kitchen. But I'm gonna throw this guy in a Ziploc bag. We're gonna head back home to the kitchen. So I will see you guys there. Cheers everyone, welcome to the kitchen. Have a recipe that I am a huge fan of planned for tonight. So we have some of our red snapper, and we also have some of the cobia that Tyler caught. So we get to try this recipe with two different fish. Have some friends coming to dinner tonight, so we're excited to feed a bunch of people a recipe that I really, really like. We got 6 people, I think, so we're gonna need 6 portions. A lot of stuff prepped, and let me show you guys how we're gonna start it out. So going into the cast iron, put about a tablespoon-ish of olive oil. And I have about 2-ish diced shallots here, and they're gonna go straight into the pan. Let these guys cook, get a little sweet. Won't take very long, maybe like 2-3 minutes. So these have cooked down a little bit. Now I am also going to toast up some garlic. We're building a bunch of layers of flavor, and I'll key you guys in on what's going in here next. It's going to be our breading that will be going into our fish, going on top of our fish. So we're actually pre-cooking our breading for our fish, and I did this once before, and I did it in a video. It turned out so freaking good, I have to do it again. So right here we have Christina's hard work. She busted up a bunch of pistachios, and then I also mixed in some panko seasoning, or some panko breadcrumbs. So that is gonna be our crust for our fish. We're gonna add this into our pan and toast all of this. Turn that heat down a little bit. And also I wanted to add, I was gonna do some fresh thyme, but I forgot to buy fresh thyme, so I'm gonna add just a bit of dried thyme. So we have all of our pistachios and breadcrumbs all toasted up, ready to go. Now we need something to make those stick to the fish fillets. So I'm gonna whip up a little mixture, just have some unflavored Greek yogurt. And we're gonna fast forward this, but I'm gonna use 2 eggs, get 2 egg whites, but I'm not gonna bore you guys with me trying to get the yolks out. And now that that catastrophe is over with, I'm going to zest 1 lemon. The lemon zest is just, gives it a little bit of freshness. We have our little yogurt, egg white, lemon zest mixture, and this is just gonna help the breading adhere to our fish. Right now, I'm brushing it onto the cobia. We gotta try and remember which fish is which, so we can, compare the two, see which one fares better with this recipe. Last time I did this recipe, it was with cobia and it was phenomenal, so that's why I was thinking, you know what, we gotta try that again today. But also try it with the red snapper that's a little bit flakier, not as firm, but I think the red snapper might be even better. So take these, just press them on down into the nut and panko mixture. This smells so good. I'm so excited. Now, place straight onto our wire rack. So help me remember all that is the cobia side. Okay, now that I have crushed pistachios all over my kitchen, we're going into the oven. Got it at 350. These are gonna go for probably about 10 to 15 minutes. And check on them about 10, just make sure they're flaking properly. So we also have some zucchini, just cut up, laid out on a sheet pan. Just real quick, easy seasoning. A little black pepper, a little sea salt, or Himalayan pink salt, and just a little bit of Italian seasoning. There we go. And I'm gonna pop these guys in the oven with the fish.
For how long?
We'll see, as long as it takes till they're done. Nice blast of heat to the face. That fish is looking good. Wow. All right, we are going in, favorite part now, the plating portion. Beautiful piece of fish. We have, I think I did this all off camera. We have some cilantro, lime, rice. Oh, it smells so good. And finally, we have some of our zucchini. Looking really, really good. We actually have a special guest tonight. You guys have seen him in a couple of my videos a long time ago. This is my buddy Joey. Lives in Texas now, but he's visiting.
I do live in Texas.
Invited him over for dinner. What did you think of the fish?
It was incredible. The zucchinis were really good. The cobia and the red snapper cooked perfectly.
Which one do you like better?
Oh, man, I don't catch cobia too often, so I definitely like the cobia better. In Texas, we catch a lot of red snapper. If you want to catch red snapper, come to Texas or Venice, Louisiana, for sure. But the cilantro lime rice paired really well with the fish, and all of it went perfectly. So I appreciate Ryan for everything, and I loved it a lot. Yeah.
That was great, man. You didn't stutter at all. Look at that. No ums, buts, or anything. Yeah, that was amazing. You might get replaced by Joey. What do you think? I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. It was an epic trip. I will see you guys in the next one. But if you can't wait, check out the one on top of Christina's face right now, and I'll see you guys over there.